Let's talk about the American election. We just got through our British election, and now it's all gone off since then. Theo, you've been a long-time political commentator. American election, too close to call.
It is too close to call, but I also think it's more important than our own election, because we always sit there, don't we, and say, well, it's British politics, it's the most important political event of the year. It's not. What happens in America is the most important event of the year.
It has a big impact on us, on the world.
Exactly. What happens in Ukraine, what happens in the Middle East, what it means for our relationship. It's our most special, it's our most important relationship.
Also, biggest impact on our economy, actually, as well. Well, look, let's talk about where we are, what's been going on with Sebastian Gorka, former advisor to Donald Trump. I should say it joins us now. Good afternoon to you, Sebastian.
Greetings to you, Julia. Great to be back.
Lovely to talk to you. Now, look, I mean, there's been seen quite a lot of interesting polls in the last few days. One suggesting the Americans trust Kamala Harris, the new, obviously, Democrat candidate, much more than Joe Biden to handle the #1 issue in the 2024 election. And that is the economy. It's always the economy, stupid, although immigration massively riding high. The economy comes up there. And they trust her more than they trust Donald Trump as well. Now, that's going to be a big issue, isn't it? Because that is a big decider.
Well, yes. Look, we've had a desperate attempt by the Democrats to completely reinvent this woman and then to detach her from the last 3.5 years of her being the vice president and actually being the border czar. The idea that in some Orwellian attempt to deep six her history as the border czar, they said, oh, no, she's not responsible as 20 million illegals were let into the country. And then yesterday, this absolutely unbelievable moment where she literally stole one of the president's most popular talking points about no tax for tips. And she said, and if I win, we'll have no tax on tips. It's like, you mean the thing that President Trump has been harping on about for the last 4 months. So I don't think this campaign is going as well as the pollsters would have you believe.
Well, this is it. I mean, look, we know the polls have been wrong before. There was virtually no one saying that Donald Trump was going to win back in 2016, and he did. So, again, big question marks there. And, again, so much of it comes down to sort of individual counties and some key states. But some polling from some of the 3 key states that are the battleground states suggests that Kamala Harris has pulled slightly ahead of Donald Trump. Do you believe that that's actually just a short-run thing? She's getting a lot of very favourable publicity. She's all over the screens. But actually, when people delve into, as you say, her track record, not just as Attorney General, prosecutor in California, but as Vice President, and actually looking at the policies and the views she's held and the votes she's cast when she was in Congress, that actually they'll have a rather different view of her?
I expect so, because what happened, what we saw is the senile husk of a man was utterly destroyed on the debate platform, and that's when they had to jettison him. So they got rid of Biden because he just couldn't perform, sat there with his mouth gaping open for 90 minutes, made sentences that nobody understood, and the president pointed out, I don't even think Joe understood what he just said. So that's when he was thrown under the bus.
And apparently he's still sulking about it.
Well, we just found out at the weekend that he was actually sabotaged by Nancy Pelosi, who wants to put him on Mount Rushmore. I mean, this is how cynical these people are. The former Speaker of the House sabotaged him, stabbed him in the back and said, oh, he's such an amazing president, let's put him on the side of a mountain.
We knew that behind the scenes she was desperately trying to get him ousted. The one thing is about Nancy Pelosi, she's a wily operator and she can do the numbers, and she knew that Biden could win. But look, I always thought Kamala Harris, I thought she was an absolutely terrible candidate back in, 2019, 2020. She was a terrible vice president pick. She's been a terrible vice president. What you read about how she behaved when she was Attorney General in California. I mean, apparently, requiring the entire staff to stand up when she walked in the room and say, good morning, General. I mean, good God. I mean, that's scary enough. The mad, hysterical, laughing at everything, the word salad, the absolute zero achievement on anything, wokest of the woke views on all the nonsense stuff. I mean, I think the woman's an idiot. I genuinely think the woman is an idiot. However, she's getting an awful lot of good press because the mainstream media in America has gone, whoopity-doo-dah, we need to get this candidate up and running. And she's getting that sort of press. That's what a lot of Americans will be seeing.
Well, they will until the first debate. I mean, think about this. This woman was selected, not voted for. Not one American voted for her to be their nominee as a Democrat. She was selected by the party, and Biden's delegates were gifted to Kamala Harris. This is, you know, they tell us, oh my gosh, the conservatives are a threat to democracy. No, no, no. The party that picks their own candidate without the will of the American people, that's the threat to democracy.
They're allowed, no, sorry, that's not. They're allowed to pick their own candidate.
No, no, but hang on. No, if you believed in democracy as they bang us over the head every single day, you would let the people decide. As you noted yourself, when she ran for the presidency, she garnered less than 3% of the Democrat vote in the primary. So,
well, no, of the polling, I don't think she even got as far as actually any actual votes. She was so bad.
She would not have been the nominee if she had to actually ask the American people for the vote. But the fact is, she has to debate my former boss 3 times. She hasn't given one press conference since her nomination 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
She gave an 18-second extemporaneous little comment on the tarmac at Andrews Air Force Base, and it was a disastrous, nonsensical, gobbledygook word salad. She couldn't say something meaningful for 18 seconds. Yeah. President Trump is going to be on a debate stage with her at least once, if not 3 times, if she has the chutzpah to actually debate him. Yeah. And she's not going to have a teleprompter. So buckle up, guys. It's not as clear cut as you think.
No, absolutely. That's certainly what I think. When people see more of her and the more they know about her, but again, it's going to be fascinating. Just finally, I want to ask you though, the Donald Trump campaign say that they believe that Iran may be behind a hacking of their internal communications, including files related to J.D. Vance, of course, Trump's running mate, and also the Florida Senator Marco Rubio. Of course, presidential campaigns put together files on, like, you know, what are the issues, the good things and the bad things about these candidates when they're making decisions on who to choose as a VP. And so a lot of unhelpful stuff has got out there. Why do you think Iran's behind this?
Well, because they don't want my former boss back. Remember, we put Iran on her knees with our sanctions, and all the bad guys in the world, like your previous guest said, this election is more important for your country than your own elections are. So if you want to have no new wars, if you want to have a stable world order, you need to have President Trump back in the office, because the bad guys are afraid of him. And look, don't listen to me, listen to the intelligence community. The intelligence community, after the Butler assassination attempt, where President Trump was shot in the head, released information that Iran was plotting to kill President Trump and actually arrested a Pakistani man who was part of that. So this isn't pulled out of thin air. This is based upon intelligence assessments. They don't want him back because he's good for America and bad for our enemies.
Well, we shall see. Thank you very much for joining us, Sebastian Gorka, former advisor to Donald Trump. Theo Rushwood, quick word on that.
Yeah, I agree with what Sebastian Gorka has said. I mean, we know that Trump was photographed next to Benjamin Netanyahu when the Israeli Prime Minister visited America. Kamala Harris didn't even go to Congress.
It was such a bad decision.
Didn't even go to hear the speech.
No one has a prior engagement that clashes when you have a foreign leader in the country giving a speech.
And Iran, you know, Iran knows that Trump is a threat because he's very strong. He's very pro-Israel.
Yeah, exactly. I'm worried about Trump when it comes to Ukraine, but absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. I take your point on that.
One leader, one potential president, and the other potential president, they're concerned for me for a different part of the world. But there we are. I don't get to have a say, and neither do you. Seb Gorka does.